Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Positively Awesome Wrestling Podcast, the Super Bowl edition, or as I like to call it, the Stupid Bowl. Tidey, thank you for joining me tonight. I'm glad you didn't take part of that festivity of the just horrible football game that's going on tonight. How are you doing, though, bud?
Doing good, man. I told you earlier, I'm a little conflicted with all these things coming up to Elimination Chamber. I listen a little too much to the noise on the IWC, as they call it, whatever, and I think I have some inner peace somewhere. I'm gonna hope we talk about that in the conversations today, because I feel a little better just getting it off my chest earlier.
Let's get these comments. We got Dave in the chat. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Dave. Always appreciate it when you join us. We got this is my man Thomas. Thank you for joining, Thomas. Looking good, babe. Man, you always be looking better than me, though. So I don't even know why she puts up with me. I don't. She probably just tuning in for Tidey. Tidey's the beauty here. I'm the brains. He's the beauty. That's what we got going here. Courtney joined. Thank you, Courtney. And we got Nick in the chat. What up, Nick? What up, Nick? We were just talking about how terrible your ideas were from the show the other day. I'm just joking. You weren't saying that, Nick. You know better, but I was just joking. Amanda says, "Hey, Tidey."
Hi, Amanda.
Who we got to do to get Tidey to LA in April?
Oh no, I can't. I'll be working, man. I'll be
busy man. Yeah. I used to be an Eagles fan, everybody. That's not true at all. Donovan McNabb. You used to be Eagles fan, though, weren't you?
Yeah. And then I took that cable umbilical cord and I cut that shit. So because of that, it was too hard. I'm like, oh man, let me go to Buffalo Wild Wings and go watch the show there. And I'm like, that gets old, man. So I can't. But I was pure blood Eagles fan.
He said, "Here we go." So straight up, I grew up watching the Bills, but when I really started watching football, I was just like, "Who?" And then Donovan McNabb was a guy watching college, and he was in Philadelphia. So I was like, I watched Philadelphia, and I started watching football, and I came across the Eagles fan. I guess you could say I was a temporary Eagles fan, but I was never with that shit, Tom. Don't even try that with me. But now football sucks anyway, so I don't even care. Do you know who my team is? Whoever wins the Super Bowl tonight. So maybe I'm an Eagles fan after tonight. I don't know. That's how I roll, because I know how much it pisses them football fans off.
Like, you're not a real fan. Why are you? It's like, oh man, you didn't know? You can just play the part.
I've been hearing that my whole life. I'm not a real fan. Okay, I still love it more than y'all, so that's fine.
I'll play the hill.
You did know better. Yeah, man, I ain't talking shit. So agenda for the evening, there isn't one really. I do want to sort of discuss, like I said, the title is WWE has a very good problem. So I'm just going to ask Tidey his opinion on what that problem I know they have a problem. I'm going to ask him what his opinion on it is. And then we're just going to shoot the shit. So we're just going to get it out the way real quick. If I had to ask you what you thought this problem was, Tidey, what do you think it is?
You're talking about those straps, double R Roman. You got Cody.
That's actually a bad problem.
It is, but
it's what's caused this whole kind of mess that we're in.
Yeah, you got that. You got Roman. You got Cody. You got Sammy. That's the biggest problem.
The fact that we have two people that are over as over as they are, and it's like, yeah, we have two options we could go with. And honestly, I'll just go ahead and say it. I think there's 4 options they could go with Roman Reigns, and all of them have very good endings that we should all be just very, very happy with. And man, I really can't put a time stamp on the last time that was the thing. Like that we could just be like, what's that? It's always been like, this is the guy, and then we get tired of it, and then we turn on him. It happens all the time. Now it's like, we have 3 of them where it kind of happened organically, and then one that's kind of being pushed on us. But even the ones being pushed on us are like, we accept it. We're okay with it. So it's like, we have obviously Sami Zayn, the rightful and only true person to claim that title, Cody Rhodes, Jey Uso, and Seth Rollins, because Seth Rollins never got his opportunity after he won by disqualification. And the man, again, we talk about people who've gotten over Seth is now back to being over, and he's the best in the world. So it's like, come on, man. Seth could be a guy that came in after WrestleMania if, Cody failed and Sami failed. Seth could come in and take it, and I wouldn't even be mad at it because, again, Seth is the man. But it's a great problem to have because you're not putting all your eggs in one basket. Seth is destined. I agree. He is destined for Logan at WrestleMania. That's a match he will win. If he doesn't, you got a riot on your hands. But Seth, him, and then guess what? Oh, then he's off back to doing what Seth Rollins does. He's made at this point. It doesn't matter who he fights and all. He's as soon as he's done, he can move right back in the main event scene straight up. He's just that good. But I just off the top of your head, I know you haven't been watching as long as I have or anything, but can you think of another time where we had this? We have a dominant champion, but we also have multiple options as to being like, they could be the guy that dethrones him and everything's okay. It's not like, it's got like when Roman was the guy that was being set up as the next champion, it was like, oh God, not him again. Not him again. It was always that. And then when it was Brock, it was like, oh, here comes Brock again. We were always disappointed. I don't think anybody's disappointed with those 4 names I named. So can you think of another time where we've had this?
Oh, so going back to Authority a little before that, I mean, that's got to be about almost 11 years ago. Nah, man, there was never this issue. Not with. No, man, I don't even think I enjoyed a lot of the championship reigns that much. There's a couple that I really liked. I really enjoyed Roman. So those, I'll take any one of those 3, even though there's only one rightful heir, but I'll take any one of those 3. So I'm telling you earlier, booking ain't easy. And I don't think booking can ever be perfect.
No, it'll never be perfect.
It won't be. It'll be good or it'll be okay.
Unless Sami wins that
chance.
title. Unless then we got perfection.
This is a chance to make booking perfect, at least for a moment in the sun. That's all anybody can ask for. Just a moment in the sun. Go retire. Get a margarita. Go sit on the beach with Sami Zayn. That is, and why? Because I think it is the right thing to do by the wrestling fans. If Triple H is the Booker T, then he's going to have to be able to see that he has to make this work because emotionally, it's just what's right by the fans. Now you got the IWC claiming they think they know what's right, and they're not thinking with their heart at all, and they act like they watch wrestling once a month, and they just missed out all the other shit that could have been happening.
Hey, I'll be real with you. Some of them only do watch once a month, and some of them I've literally called some of them out on. This is funny that Tidey's now falling into the IWC. He's like, "Oh, I see how bad it is."
I usually ignore all the bullshit, man.
I've literally caught one of them talking about how he just watches clips, but then he talks like he'll live tweet, but he's like, no, I just watched the clips. It's like, then what are you talking about, bro? You're seeing like little snippets of things. You shouldn't be giving your opinion on these. Like, no, that's not how that works. You can't do that because you're missing so much context. So much.
I'm gonna put my fan hat on for 1 second. All right, so speaking of the Super Bowl, so I'm acting like I'm a fan right now. How the hell am I going to talk about what's going on with the Philadelphia Eagles if I'm barely watching them, right? I see some shit here and there. You're only watching ESPN because your main thing is just like a basketball guy, right? You don't get to speak on it, man. Take it back.
Let's go ahead and get these comments. Nick says it's literally the best problem to have. 100%. Like it's if you're going to have a problem. This is the problem to have. That means you are doing a phenomenal job. Seth is made, so don't be surprised if Logan goes over at Mania. And I'll tell you why he's not. This will be Logan's 4th match. He won his first 2. He lost his last one to Roman. And Seth, I don't care what anyone wants to say. As far as like I'm concerned, Seth and Roman are equals. Logan isn't losing. Logan isn't beating Seth. It's just not. I think if there was a loss that would hurt Seth, it's this one. If Seth is destined to go and take like a 6-month vacation afterwards, by all means, Logan Paul, beat him, I guess. I'd still be ready to drive. If I see people charging the ring after Logan Paul beat Seth Rollins at WrestleMania, I'm jumping the rail and joining the party. It would be a travesty. It really would. But I digress. And then
the January 6th of wrestling.
Yeah.
People will riot.
Here we go. Where'd it go? Literally, how is it a problem? And here's why it is a problem. Because you have people who are like, it should be Cody, and you have other people who are like, it should be Seth, and you have that small percentage of people who's like, it should be Jay, and then one of them doesn't happen, or two of them, in this case, two of those can't happen. Only one of them can happen. So those two groups of fans, a percentage of them are going to be mad, and then there's arguments and fighting, and then people turn on wrestlers, and that's the problem. So there is a problem that goes with it being a great problem, but it's like, man, that back end is like, I hate the fact that I know that there are going to be fans who turn on somebody here. That it's just gonna happen, and it shouldn't. It just shouldn't.
No, it shouldn't.
That's
happen.
The problem.
Like Triple H has got to be able to. He's got to put on the fan hat. You know, I mean, I'm sure a good booker can probably sit in the stands and be a fan. I mean, emotionally, how would you? I mean, what do you call it? Betray. How would you betray your own emotions as a fan? I mean, I'm pretty sure Sammy's going to win. Or he's just smarter than all of us, and he's going to figure some shit out to where it's going to be okay by Mania. I don't know, man, but emotionally, man, I swear to God, he better win.
Here we go. Don't put Logan win. Hey, I didn't. That was David. Have beef with David, not me. I'm just speaking on it. That's all I'm doing. I'm speaking on it. It shouldn't happen. I hope it doesn't. And again, you can join me, Nick, because we'll be there together. We'll jump the rails together if it happens. We'll riot. We'll storm the ring if it happens. I'm not putting it in the universe. David did that. Look what you did, David. I won't
storm the ring.
An awful lot of Jay White experts all of a sudden. No, they are, and it's funny. It is funny. I wouldn't say I'm a Jay White expert, but from what I've seen, I love Jay White, and the idea of seeing him in WWE just for the fact of seeing him against Seth Rollins just makes me salivate. I do want that. I will be selfish and say I want that. He won't make them more money. I think what Logan Paul does, and I this is a great thing we can just go ahead and jump in and talk about. We talk about crossovers with superstars, and one of those people that I feel like could do it is Seth Rollins. I feel like he's reached a level where he has character and charisma that's kind of captivating. If you don't know, just watch him when he comes out. You got the whole arena just singing along with him. Like, he's reached a status that he wasn't at a few years ago, and I didn't think he would. Could you see Seth Rollins doing TV shows and things of that nature?
Yeah, he was just doing he was on the news talking about the Chicago Bears or whatever, about what they're going to do for the next draft pick.
Love and hate a relationship with football.
Yeah, I mean, he can definitely do that, period. Becky's doing it. Becky did it. He can do it.
So what I think with what happens with this Logan Paul is that you put these two together, and it's now putting some light on Seth Rollins that he hasn't been getting and probably has deserved, because you have someone like Roman Reigns there who's taking all the glory. Kind of rightfully so too, because it's been a phenomenal story and I'm not mad at it. But Logan Paul puts eyes on whoever he's involved with. That's just going to be and especially going into WrestleMania season, WWE will be going out of their way to kind of make more things happen. And they're really going to try and push and promote things. Oh, Logan Paul is at WrestleMania? Who's he facing? They turn on, they see Seth Rollins, this guy who's just oozing charisma. That might be good for him as far as like breaking out into the megastar that people keep saying will never happen again in wrestling. Do I think he would ever reach a level like The Rock or Cena? No, I don't. But it could make him more money, and it could get him out there and get more eyes on the show, as well as him involved with other projects. So I think the pairing is great. The more I think about it, Logan Paul just can't win. Amanda says she'll bail us out of jail, Nick. So if Logan Paul wins, we're storming the ring.
I'd be a coward. I'd be throwing water bottles.
Unless it's the first match of the night. If it's the first match of the night, I'm not doing it. I'm not missing the full night. But sorry, Tidey Semi. Bruh, he ain't getting obliterated at the Chamber. And here, while we're on the subject of the stupid bowl that's happening tonight, imagine you're a Philadelphia Eagles fan. You're the Philadelphia Eagles. They went through the whole season. They went through the playoffs. They got to the halftime, and they're winning like 32-7 over the Chiefs. And then halftime's over, and the Chiefs come out, and then out comes the Dallas Cowboys instead. And then they get to finish the game and win the Super Bowl. In this scenario, I hate it. I use the Cowboys now that I'm thinking about it, but it is what it is. Sami Zayn is the Philadelphia Eagles, and Cody Rhodes is the Cowboys. Sami Zayn did all the groundwork going into WrestleMania, and now Cody Rhodes gets to reap the rewards. No, sir. That's fucked up. Sorry to say it, but it is. Like, it's like, yeah, I know you did a real good job, buddy. Isn't this what we got mad at Bill Goldberg for doing a few years ago when he beat Bray Wyatt for the title and then went into WrestleMania with it? He just swooped in, took it, and is like, yep. Yeah, it's kind of what Cody's doing.
So as the Eagles fan as I used to be, I forget the kid's name, but besides Donovan McNabb being injured like 2 years in a row, then he'll come back at the end of the playoffs. And I was like, man, it was the second string quarterback that got us here. And he's been doing a phenomenal job. It was like 2 years in a row of this shit. And that's when I started hating Dominic McNabb. I know you like him, but I'm an Eagles fan. I have the right to hate him.
I think it was Jeff Garcia.
Yeah, it was him. And there was other year they had these weird brothers.
Kevin Kolb, because they drafted him. And that's the guy that ended up pushing Donovan out. So, yeah.
How you going to come in and then you lose the Super Bowl and then he's smiling about it during the game and he's just doing bad, throwing passes to people's shadow on the feet. Donovan, he was doing bad.
He was not smiling. That man got sick. He was thrown up in the huddle.
But check your facts.
Check your facts. We ain't starting the Donovan McNabb thing right now. I can't get amped up about that. Ooh, bro, I'll defend Donovan McNabb until I'm in the dirt.
We can just, we can rewind it. I'm just saying. I remember being upset as a fan to see someone else come in towards the end of it when the second string got you there because Andy Reid was favoring his ass.
Actually, it wasn't McNabb that year because it was Terrell Owens. Terrell Owens got hurt and then showed up and came into the Super Bowl. Donovan played the whole year. He didn't get injured that year. Because that was the year he earned the thing to get the Madden cover. But I digress. Yeah. Again, I'll go off on a tyrant about some Donovan McNabb. Agree that boy will. You don't want to be a Dallas Cowboy guy, Nick. I promise you, that is not an honor that you want to have. But my point stands. Like, WrestleMania is the Super Bowl, and you can't just have some team just show up that didn't do shit all year just because, my quarterback was hurt all year. Let me just show up when I can. And then we were the team before he got hurt. So now you need to move to the side because I'm back, baby. And no, come back next year and prove it all again. That's the best fucking analogy I've ever come up with any of this. So thank you, stupid bull. I really appreciate it. Because that's insane to me. That now I'm even more mad thinking about it. Sami Zayn should be the guy, bro. Ooh, should be the guy.
He was doing like this British Bake Off thing, like he watches the great. I saw that on there.
27-21 Eagles, 35 seconds left in the third, which means here comes the Cowboys. They're gonna come in and take over and just get the Super Bowl, and that's just how it works now. We're just gonna let people come in and steal other people's moments, man, and we're just gonna be like, yeah, fuck the other guy. Like, man, come on, man, that's wild to me. Anyway, while we're on the same exam, I'll do the one more quote. I found this post about Sami Zayn, and bro, it made me mad. And I want David and Nick's opinion, and Courtney as well, since she's in here. I want the opinions. What y'all think about this quote? Because I found it to be blasphemous. I won't even say the person's name that said it. I won't do it. I won't put that person out there like that. I'll just say this. Hurricane Helms wrestled in the wrong era. based on people's logic of today, they would have campaigned that he be the one that dethrones Roman Reigns. Where's the lie? He was also a mid-card comedy goofball, just like Sami Zayn. And he was over. How stupid was that comparison?
Oh, God. That's somebody who didn't watch the show for the last year. Like, dude, he barely watched anything. So if he doesn't love Sami Zayn after seeing him week by week, then
I'll cut you off real quick. I'll say this. This guy actually watches it weekly, doesn't miss a show because he reviews the show and he does his own little kind of booking things. Like and I've heard some of his takes before, and he's actually sounds like a reasonable guy most of the time. But that one right there was like, I feel like someone just kidnapped his computer and just said the most wild shit just to make him look stupid.
I don't like it.
Blasphemous. Absolutely. I agree. Hurricane Helms. Whew. Had Hurricane Helms been involved in a year-long storyline that made sense, yeah, I would absolutely campaign for him to beat Roman Reigns. He was a damn superhero, for Christ's sake. Why wouldn't he? Anyway, did you watch Dynamite this week?
I caught like the last half of it. I didn't get all of it.
Anything that you saw that you liked?
Oh, dude, I just love MJF in general.
Okay, we're gonna talk about that since we never get a chance to talk. This will be our first chance to talk about something that happened on AEW, like because you saw it, so we can talk. So we're gonna go ahead and switch over to that. MJF from AEW Dynamite. This would be, I think, how many times did you see him? 2 or 3?
I've seen about 2 shows, but each time I only seen about half.
But did you see him twice on this past week's? Because he had, I think he had 3 segments.
I saw him wrestle, and then I saw the promotion that he had, or a segment that he had. Yeah, I saw one of the segments.
Was it the promo?
It was the one with the car crash and all that.
Okay, yeah, okay. So you saw the thing that would be the topic of discussion probably. So you've been watching it. You're new to the AEW stuff. You see a little bit so far. Overall, what do you think of the show and the I guess the product from what you've seen?
So I'm very, how do I put it? Like, even with like what's going on at the WWE, I got a couple stars by a couple players because I have some kind of story investment in. I don't have a story investment in so far. There's like an old great that I love, Samoa Joe. And I like that Darby Allin kid. That dude is badass. That was such a good match, and I didn't even have to know because I already relate to who Samoa Joe is, and like, I'm just gonna beat your ass, and like, so that was great. I don't know the story so far. I don't know if they're heavy in story.
Of MJF.
Like, the best thing I saw was like the video package that that Moxley had and that Daniel Bryanson had. Like, I love their video packages they did lately. Okay. I don't know much about what the story is going on right now.
Okay, so to catch you up on MJF, Bryan Danielson, when William Regal showed up, he had a thing with MJF because he used to be the manager of the Blackpool Combat Club, in which consisted of Mox, Claudio, Bryan Danielson, Will Yuta, and William Regal was the manager. MJF came back, challenged Moxley for the title, and then they brought in a real-life story in which MJF received an email from William Regal in which he said, get better, blah, blah, blah. But then when the match happened, William Regal helped MJF win. And then 2 weeks later, MJF turned on Regal like he literally does with everybody. He clocked him in the back of the head. That's the last we saw of Regal. It's a great way of writing someone off your television show. And so that we're not like, what happened? It's a great way. So I applaud them for that. And now MJF, but because he did that, Mox wanted to beat Regal's ass. And the only thing that stopped him was Bryan Danielson. And his reason was like, he's like a father to me. Please. I understand you're mad, but please don't touch him. He's basically, you hit him, you could cripple him. Don't touch him, please. But so Mox said, all right, get out of here. And Regal left. But then MJF did what he did. And then Bryan Danielson's like, I'm going to kill you. MJF stick, though, and this is kind of something you've will see a lot of people complain about, and I think it's a legit complaint. All MJF's feuds tend to be the same in the sense that he makes them go through a gauntlet to get to him, and they always get through the if sometimes they didn't make it through the gauntlet, and then they're like, oh, that's the end of that story, bye, you are not good enough. I'd be like, okay, I get the gauntlet, but literally every time they get through it. So MJF basically finds some kind of top level wrestler each week to face Bryan Danielson. And Bryan Danielson's been having fantastic matches with literally all of them. It's been really, that's been the great part of it, is that the matches we're getting from Bryan Danielson are just beautiful. But now this week was the final test, and as you saw, like, he did it, so they are going to have the match, and now you're caught up to where you were on Wednesday.
Yeah. I'm just as a general and whole of what I've been able to see. I like the wrestling. It is fast paced. It is stiff.
It's very NXT Black and Gold esque.
They're definitely making sure their matches are good. I watched the Jamie Hayter match as well. I know she dropped the girl on her head. It looked like a little bit.
Bunny didn't jump. I went back and watched it. I was like, oh yeah, she didn't jump. She became dead weight. So
oh shit. But yeah, I like the wrestling. I'm chomping at the bit to get involved in a couple stories. So I don't know if MJF is because I was writing out as a comparison with WWE, people that I know that story is going on, or people that I have faith that the ongoing story next week or next month will kick in. And that's like, of course, Bloodline, Bobby versus Lesnar, Gunther versus the world, Seth versus anybody. But Seth versus Logan, Seth already talked some real stuff, so I know something's going to kick in. Bayley versus Becky. And then there's some others that I know when they come back, they'll carry something with a story. Like, I want to know, like in AEW, are there some main players that are like definitely going to have a story going?
I don't want to say problem. And AEW tells stories a little differently. There's going to be times where if you're just a new viewer and you're kind of just now getting into watching stuff other than WWE, you're going to have a hard time kind of following some of it, because they'll bring in somebody from the indies and they'll do something brief just to be like they catch each other's eye and they give each other a dirty look. So it's like, oh, they have history.
Oh,
but they kind of want you to know the history. So if you don't mind going back and watching and Googling and figuring out like what their history is to learn it and then be more invested, it's not a problem. But some people, like, they don't have that kind of time, and that kind of puts them off. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying it's wrong, but I'm not saying it's right either. It does make it very difficult for, again, a viewer like you to kind of tune in and be like, okay, I can follow along with a lot of this. That's my only gripe about it. But Ricky Starks and Jericho are kind of running the exact same shtick that MJF is doing now. He has to go through a gauntlet to beat him. I saw that. But he already beat Jericho, so it doesn't make sense. Hangman and Mox have an interesting one right now. They're both essentially, in my eyes, have been kind of viewed as the two top baby faces in AEW since its inception. And now they're kind of just going back and forth to see who's the better man. Mox won one because he knocked Hangman out, and then Hangman came back and beat him, and they turned the knockout into part of the storyline. Hangman's like, yo, yeah, I'm fine. Just, it sucked not knowing my kid's name. And it was like, yo, that kind of hit hard. And then when Mox did beat him the third time, he did it on a roll up. So Hangman's like, you're a man. You're going to tell me you're a man and you're going to accept that. So it's like, oh, they're going to keep going. It's an interesting story that I like, and you can follow it along. Samoa Joe and Wardlow have one where it's kind of like Samoa Joe took Wardlow's belt, but he didn't beat Wardlow for it. And then he attacked Wardlow in the rematch before the match, then beat him in the match. So he does, like, he lost, but he was injured. So it was like, and Samoa Joe was a bitch about it. And then he cut his ponytail off. So Wardlow was gone, and now Wardlow's back to get his belt back. I think that's why Darby lost it. But that's kind of where we're at with that storyline. And then the women are trying to do the XWB versus AW Originals.
Yeah,
it got stalled for a month because Britt got injured. So now they're kind of getting back into it. it was not good this past week. But again, I think they had to hit a pause button on it until Britt, because they're doing it with the Ruby Soho, Britt Baker, Tony Storm match. You have an AEW girl who's picked her side. You have a WWE girl who's picked her side. And then you have Ruby Soho who's in between which side is she's going to pick. And I think that's when the story is going to start to pick up. So you didn't miss the beginning of it. That's good.
Yeah.
You've been watching a bad storyline, though, so far. That's the bad part. We went off the rail a little bit, but MJF put on an excellent match, excellent promo, and then did commentary all on the same show. I will say this. I think the match was really good. Him and Takeshita, I don't think had great chemistry. It was a good match. I'm not completely crapping on the match. I just think some of the things that happen in the match shouldn't be happening. It just lessens the impact of moves.
I love that backflip he did off the top rope, though.
Yeah, I like it because
awesome.
that was an interesting one, because he literally did it just to be like, yeah, I can do this shit too. And he just chooses not to. That's a very cool thing about MJF. But his on commentary, I love him on commentary. He did a great job on commentary. But the promo, no. That was not an excellent promo. I'm sorry. I can't say that. And we'll talk about it. Can Danielson beat MJF in a 60-minute? No, he can't. he's gonna rip that arm off.
One arm? I didn't.
MJF.
I know his shoulder's injured, but is it that bad now?
It's supposed to be that bad, yeah. Basically, in each match, you've been watching Bryan Danielson get dissected more and more. Like, he started off fresh, and now he's just a complete, like, battered and bruised hero. And that's been the story they told. It's like what I said. I don't mind this one, because when it's done right, it's cool. I would just like them to somebody lose a gauntlet so that MJF can just be like, piss off, next guy.
That'd be cool.
And it would bring more real. Like, to me, it would make the gauntlet not just be like repetitive.
Realistically, you're not realistically to win a
repetitive. Yeah.
Like,
this guy is just gonna beat the next 5 people he wrestles and then fight him. Like, no, switch it up and I'll be cool. So no, he's not beating him. And I don't know if you noticed MJF. No, because you didn't watch the match. I don't think you saw the match. But MJF's finisher is a arm bar in which he basically reaches back on your shoulder. So
I saw that part. Yeah.
That's why the arm was the target. Oh man, I miss Black and Gold so much. I do. I hate it when it does this.
Whatever, man. I'm just gonna say NXT is not Black and Gold status, but it is very good lately. They're doing a good job.
Rush is likely being heated up to face Claudio for the ring. Rush is awesome. Rush is the guy that fought Bryan Danielson this week. Awesome. Yeah, like and then Bandito is another one. He fought him 2 weeks ago, I think. The week before you started watching. Bandito is awesome. And Rush is a former Ring of Honor World Champion. So Mox, Hangman likely head to a match. They're gonna have some kind of just wild ass match at the pay-per-view. It's gonna be awesome. Darby's going off to do some filming. Okay. I always thought he was just like the holder, like, because Wardlow, I guess, got injured and that's why he was off TV. And then they're like, okay, well, Samoa Joe doesn't want to defend this thing every week. Let's put it on Darby. And then Darby can hold it until Wardlow got back. That's what I felt like they did, which I'm not even mad at, because we got to see some amazing Darby Allin matches. He's in my top 5 right now. He's one of my favorite wrestlers right now. He's the match of the wrestler of the year for me right now. In this very, very short 2 months we've had, he is the wrestler of the year to me. But the promo, what did you think about the promo?
It shocked me because I'm listening to it, and man, he said all that just to make the point. You're right. I am a son of a bitch. I've always been a son of a bitch, and I own it, kind of thing. I thought it was interesting the way that he went about it. I thought it was really dark and fucked up. I saw his tweet where he's like, man, y'all a bunch of snitches. How many more calls I'm going to get from the damn police department? I thought that was hilarious. So that adds to the Twitter game. I thought it was really good, man. Pretty fucking dark, though. Get some dark ass shit.
Yeah.
But it was a good way to put, like, dude, I've always been a bastard. I like that it tied that into that. So I kudos to that part.
So do you remember the name of the girl from the story?
No, I would black that out mentally. Period. I wouldn't even try to remember that name.
Hold on a second.
Oh, it's Liv. Liv. That's right. It was Liv. Now I remember because I was like, it was like a wrestler like Liv.
So then my next question is, did you see, God, where is it? Did you see the picture floating around on Twitter?
No.
I'm trying to pull it up, man. It's hard for me right now. Here we go. I'm gonna get it now. So I thought I remember seeing this picture a few months ago, and when he said Liv, I was like, huh, no, it can't be Liv. And then but I thought I was just like, it was just like something it was just in my head. But
for legal reasons, I'm just gonna go with a name.
Yeah, and it was like, that was an odd thing to say. But then I was like, but then he went into the depths of being like, yeah, I framed. I was like, oh, okay, that's what the legal reasons were. It wasn't have anything to do with this.
Oh, damn it.
Did you see that picture?
No, I did not.
So it's like a lot of people were like, is it Liv Morgan? I don't even know if that's her real name, so I don't think it was. But then he also posted a picture of the car that he was so
I saw that.
Okay, yeah. But the police calls did turn out to be false. It wasn't real. And but the story was that him and 3 of his buddies got in an accident when he was a kid. So he just kind of took that story, threw some things in it to be like, I'm a son of a bitch, and then made it the vile story that we got.
Yeah.
And apparently Liv is from New Jersey, and that's where it happened. So it's just a very kind of an awesome coincidence, honestly. Not that the thing that happened to Liv in the story was awesome, but just the fact that Liv could be tied into it.
And I like the way that he said it, because like that dude was not batting an eye. He had no shame of talking about what he's talking about.
Yeah.
And the dude looked comfortable. Like he's in the back of the RV playing video games. He just walked in. He looked very comfortable.
Yeah. So this is where I'm coming from. Don't you think it was a poor taste, considering that Jay Briscoe died in a car crash less than a month ago, and now his brother Mark is on that show? So it's like, do you really want to do something like that soon?
Oh, I didn't even think that.
Yeah, it was kind of one of the things that, like, after the promo was over, I was kind of like, wow, really? Because I feel like little bits, and
I feel like the story was kind of messed up.
And it was kind of, in my opinion, it's pointless to go that far with it, because we already know he's a son of a bitch. Nobody is questioning how much of a son of a bitch Maxwell Jacob Friedman.
You know who it was good for, though? It was good for me, the new watchers. Like, that motherfucker really
that's a
that?
great point. That's, you know what?
That's why I liked it so much. But then I do have morals in my head. I was like, that's very off-putting. At the same time, you went that far just to let me know you're a fucking asshole, dude.
You've completely changed my mind. I have no problem with it now.
Yes,
I feel like you're the new viewer, and this is the kind of thing I talk about like all the time. When I might complain about something, other people complain about something, but it's done for a reason. And the reason is for a new viewer like yourself seeing like, oh wow, he is everything I heard about him,
evil,
like, and more. So
evil.
This is great. We get to talk about it now, because now I can correct myself, and I was wrong. If you sound like you believe what you're saying, the crowd will buy. Yeah, absolutely, all the time. What did you think about the Young Bucks match, or the Elite match?
I did get up a couple times. I had to go get food. I wasn't just pausing it or anything. But from the spots that I've seen what they do, yeah, they're very entertaining. They had some really good spots that I like. I was gonna say what I said before, but they're those damn jogger suits. I'm gonna say it, like those weird jogger suits, like some old middle-aged dudes, and they're like, and then Kenny just looked kind of old in general. I'm like, but this is the man Kenny. what the hell's going on? I heard so much about Kenny. But then as I just got past what they were looking like, for some reason, it just stuck in my head. I was thinking like Step Brothers for some reason. And I watched them fight.
He's
I was
Brennan.
like, holy shit, these guys are really good. And to do it so I never seen a trios match. Like they're doing this professionally, right? I've seen 3-on-3s in WWE. They had some really good spots that I really enjoyed. I'm like, these guys are just really entertaining and good at what they do. So I since I missed some spots because I kept getting up to get food, I can't say everything on it, but I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it.
Okay. I had one problem with it, and it took me out of the match, unfortunately, because again, y'all done busted me. I've started enjoying the Young Bucks for what they do. I'm not going to call it wrestling. For what they do. You've caught me saying I'm a fan, so I'm allowed to critique them now without it being me I'm not a hater at this point. I'm just critiquing them. I'm trying to be real with it. And it wasn't, I don't even think it's them unless they constructed the match. But there was a point where AR Fox, who is incredible, like the way he moves around the ring is just insane to me. It was just, and it looks so effortless and so fluent. I don't know where this dude's been. It doesn't make sense to me because apparently he's been around a long time, and I've never heard of him, and no one else has ever picked him up. I don't get it. But he hit 3 cutters on each members of the Elite.
Oh yeah.
That ends the match. I'm sorry. If it's a cutter, it's one of the most devastating badass moves ever, like finishing moves ever, and it's been reduced to just filler move. And it's like, what? A false finish move. There we go. It's a false finish move. And it's like, why? I don't. That was the part where I was like, okay, I'm following it. It started a little slow, and I was like, that's cool. But then that happened, and I was like, this is why I don't like Young Bucks matches, because I see that kind of crap all the time. So, as a new viewer, as someone who's going to see them more, I want you to pay attention to that and tell me if it's an issue for you.
Got it.
I want to see if you're like seeing what I'm seeing. Here we go. Go watch AR Fox versus Swerve match from Underground. Oh yeah, I will. I will. He was Dante Fox in Lucha Underground, where he was Killshot. Okay, dude. I was amazed by what the dude was doing, but man. And I know I'm going to get shit because I'm bringing up Randy Orton, but I'll bring up Diamond Dallas Page as well. If Diamond Dallas Page was in a 4-way and he hit a cutter, his diamond cutter on each 3 of those dudes, the match is over with. It's done. If Randy Orton does the same, the match is done because it's a fucking you're taking someone's face and you're slamming it with no stopping them right into the mat. That's a knockout blow every day of the week. And this wasn't some like built up spectacle where, I get like The Rock is Stone Cold. Oh, he kicked out of the stunner for the first time. I get that in those kind of matches. This was not one of those kind of matches. It's like, what the?
Is that also his finisher?
No, I don't know what his finisher is. I don't think I've seen him win a match yet, but he does just wild things. The way he does his cutters is awesome too, because he'll do like a double roll with them. Like he'll grab them and do a barrel roll, and then they'll pop up and he'll do a cutter to them. Mm-hmm. He'll do a back roll into kind of like the Sol Ruka chick from NXT, how she does the
upside flip down
thing.
Flip.
He kind of does something similar to that, but not off the ropes. It just kind of happens a little bit more naturally. And the one he did to Kenny, I think, was just like Kenny rolled and then he rolled and then they bounced into each other and he cuttered him. So they're very innovative and they're very awesome to see. And it's like, that's the evolution of the diamond cutter to me. Like, and you could hit it from anywhere. And when you hit it, it's done. And now it's like, nope, it's a false finish every single time. See, now that you watch them, I can explain to you exactly why I just can't stand those matches. Like, they get under my skin. They're still insanely talented, and I'm still going to try and enjoy what they do. But in moments like that, ooh, bro, 3 cutters is over. You're right. It did. And then everybody started using it way too much. I agree. Whereas now I think the DDT should be more kind of like a basic move.
Jake Roberts. That was awesome. I remember him back in the day. I loved his finisher. It was so smooth.
Yeah, because people were still using it as a finisher up until like 10 years ago. Alexa Bliss was using it too. So like it's so, I don't like when they do it. I don't. I don't like it. It's silly. It basically makes other people look silly. Like when you're kicking out of a choke slam, a tombstone off the middle rope, and then a cutter off the top of a ladder, it's like, why? That's silly. I think the DDT should have never been a finisher to begin with. That's what I'll say to that. It was cool, shouldn't have been a finisher. What else happened on AEW? What was the main event? The Acclaimed.
Oh, that part. I seen people upset, like really upset about it. Like I saw the Acclaimed. I've seen them come out twice, and they have like a rap, and it's really good. It's very entertaining. I like the guys. You know, I immediately liked them the first time that I saw him come out with the rap, and it was really good. They got tons of charisma and personality. Billy Gunn, whatever, with them. It seems like just his presence, even though I don't know what's going on, just his presence with them is actually kind of cool. It just fucking works. And I'm just a new viewer. I'm like, this is working. I'm liking these dudes. You know, if I was to say I came in the first time, people that stuck out, MJF and them, like immediate stick out, period.
The Acclaimed to me is one of Tony Khan's best decisions he ever did because he put them together. Why? I'm not going to speculate, but if he saw this, like that, the Acclaimed is awesome. They're my favorite tag team in the world right now. Like I have no shame in admitting it, bro. I do this when they come out. My son comes over, he goes, "Says I'm married, daddy." All right, bud, that's what's up. That is what's up. I love the Acclaimed. They're so damn fun. Like that's why we watch this stuff. We want to be entertained. We want to have fun, and those dudes are the definition of it.
Yeah, I like them.
I thought them losing was wild. You're a new viewer, so you don't kind of grasp the silliness of the Gun Club.
I've seen some of the so-called thing going on with their daddy and him. And
it's not even that. It's just I feel like the level of what the Gun Club is. Whereas I think they're way better than they were when they started. They're still not.
I look at them and I don't think these guys are stars.
Yeah, they're. See, I won't say they're not stars. I think they can be stars. I think they're very entertaining. I just don't think they're there yet on a.
Is it time for that? Yeah, they're not time for that push. See where they go, right?
I think this is a lot of the critiques that people that I know have had with AEW is that Tony never seems to want to piss off the fans. I feel like this was the first time we've seen a booking decision, which was kind of generated to be like, hey, what do you think about that? And they were like, yo, what the fuck? But I think that's a great thing because the Guns have heat. And we talk about MJF having heat all the time, but people love that man. They're cheering that man and everything. He doesn't really like he can get heat, but he don't have heat. He's not like a heat magnet. Or not, maybe that's not the word. He's not like a true heel to me because he still gets way too many cheers. They love him. People don't like that. The ass boys. That's what we're calling them, the ass boys. They don't like them. So to put the belts on him and take him off of one of the most popular acts you have in the company right now is like, yo, we really hate the ass boys right now. And it's like, that's what you need more of. They piss us off so that when something like when the Acclaimed win them back, it's like, hell yeah. Or whatever happens next, we can be excited. It's like, okay, you pissed us off. Now fix it. And then it happens like, yes. I think that's how you build good heels.
There
So
was a thing, because I was thinking about this before I got on about that and how that happened. There was a thing about I'm trying to remember. It was just Jay finishers. I there was a video game. I forget if it was one of the Halo games, and then there was a point where they were listening to everything the fan base. I think it was a little bit of Destiny as well. They're listening to everything the fan base wanted, and they kept changing things and then trying to appease. But if you're not a player of the game, if you're not a fan of wrestling and you're really watching it, how do you know what is really right? That's what I'm saying. Sami Zayn's the right thing right now, but emotionally it's just right. So you have to be very careful about that, because what it did to the video game fan base of that, it destroyed it from the inside out, to where casuals and people just getting back on be like, okay, you nerfed every gun because you're listening. And if they were pissed enough to look it up because a couple of 10% of the ass clowns and Bungie didn't want to make them upset, it's like, dude, play your own fucking game and figure out what needs the balance. Don't listen to everybody because you keep changing things every month and it's pissing people off.
yeah.
You have to be a fan of it and see the right perspective at times. You can't just listen to everybody.
To prove your point there, every time I play the new Halo game that comes out, I play it for like an hour, and then I'm like, man, I really wish I could play Halo 3 again.
Yeah. ODST, give me ODST, man.
It was okay. It was okay.
Well, it was Reach. Halo Reach was the one that was fun.
New tag team champs, the Ass Boys. The Ass Boys. Do you know the story about the Ass Boys?
I just know something about Billy Gunn. That's all I know.
Danhausen calls them the Ass Boys because of their dad, and they hate it.
God damn it. Danhausen strikes again.
Danhausen started the Ass Boys, so he should get like a percentage of their merchandise.
the 2 weeks I watched, I didn't see any Hausen. Is he not on weekly?
I feel like he's been delegated to Rampage lately.
But he's on Rampage weekly, or at least every other week?
I feel like he's on television at least once a week. It's usually a backstage segment, but he's on at least once a week. And I feel like recently it's just been on Rampage, not Dynamite.
That dude needs to be on for sure every week. You know, God.
Jay White, WWE, any comments? I hope he does. I'm being selfish. I want the Seth Rollins feud match, all of it. I want it. I think it would be really amazing. Other than that, though, I'm not really sure how fulfilled he might be if he came. I'll say that about Jay. If he's coming to get money and he's ready to entertain, come on down, Jay. If not, you might not want to come. But I hope he does. I think he's awesome. And if he goes to AEW, I'm still happy because I'll enjoy him over there. He has a match this Saturday against Kingston at Battle in the Valley, which is on the same night as the Elimination Chamber. Why the fuck do they do that? Halo is, I think it sucked a little bit before Reach. Because what was after Halo 3? I don't even know.
It was Halo 3 ODST, Halo Reach, Halo 4.
Okay.
I think
So
ODST was the bad one.
Reach still had parts of it that I could enjoy, but it just kept changing. So
the ODST had the fire team, the firefight or whatever, which is horde mode from Gears, basically.
But that's his last match, and moreover, yeah, they have a lot of interest. A lot of people, though, doesn't mean they're going to get him. If Jay White doesn't want to go do programs with, I'm not knocking on him, but if he doesn't want to do programs with Miz, then he probably shouldn't come to WWE. But if he's okay with it, then come on down, buddy. Jay White is awesome all around. Like, I have him on Seth Rollins level. That's how highly I think Jay White is. Yeah. What else? SmackDown. Anything from SmackDown you want to hit on real quick before?
Yeah. Okay. So I saw Nick's review. And I watched it myself. So the fact that I was like, man, we need to pivot now. We need to pivot right. We need to do something about this shit because I'm going crazy as a fan. And like, here we go. Great pivot. Let's just make Jay the center of attention all of a sudden. Let's break the bloodline apparently now, because Paul Heyman was in the back listening when Jimmy said, hey, I didn't. No, he didn't say anything really. No, Jay said, I don't know, which means you're not loyal. That should be coming out of his mouth. And he could have told Paul Heyman that, and he didn't. So Paul Heyman at the end, after, Roman supposedly watching the show, gets the fist bump from him and says, I acknowledge you. And Jay's like, man, come on, get that shit out of here. And then he looks around, give him a bump, a hard bump. That's disloyalty to the island of Roman. So Roman saw all that shit. Paul even heard that Jimmy didn't even come clean and be like, man, he said, I don't know. Man, he ain't down. That's all he had to say. But Jimmy didn't say that, protecting his brother. So that's already, Jimmy's got doubts in his head. I didn't even see Solo. So that is a perfect way to pivot from all this weird shit that's going on. Like, give me something interesting. Give me something now. And Sammy can come out, like Nick said, Sammy can come out and he has to follow up on the promo that Cody did with Paul Heyman. He's got to make himself look like a real contender here. And then I don't think it is, because Sammy's a good guy, but he's still using that master strategist stuff. He did.
Oh, he's always going to.
And that's okay. You can do that as a good guy if you're smart about it, because he reached the heart. You know what Roman's about to do, man. I know what Roman's. You definitely know Roman, what he's about to do. But there's a way out. So anyways, that was great. That was great on SmackDown. I needed to see that. It calmed me down a bit.
So it threw me for a loop again. Like, because everybody has this idea that Jey Uso is going to come and screw Sami Zayn. And it was like, it definitely seemed like that's what they were doing with it. But then you bring Jay back, which surprised me in itself. I was shocked when Jay showed up to wrestle with Jimmy. I was like, and they hugged and all that. It seemed like a very real and cool moment. And it's like, that helps sell this story because it felt like a real moment. And I'm like, okay, he's here. And then the whole situation where Jimmy's asking him, and then he walks, like, I don't know. And then Paul's like, what'd he say? And he goes, oh, he didn't say nothing. And so now Jimmy is starting to kind of show cracks. Roman is unhinged. And I called this a little while ago. He's unhinged right now. So any kind of just like betrayal that he sees coming, because he has now been betrayed by the first person, he's not going to react rationally. So I don't think Jay, man, I don't know, man. They've upped my percentage again on who wins, because like, I just think if Jay shows up, he's there to help Sammy. So if you have Jay showing up to help Sammy, you have Kevin Owens showing up to help Sammy. Jimmy's not there. Solo's outnumbered there, and then the numbers game is in Sammy's. Man, I have a hard time thinking Sammy wouldn't come out of that.
Yeah. I mean, honestly.
And then everyone talks about the moment at WrestleMania where the confetti falls down on Kevin and Sammy when they win the tag titles. Hey, why don't you do it at the Elimination Chamber while they embrace when Sammy just won the Universal title in front of his hometown? That's even better than WrestleMania. Man, they've got me again.
If you think like, because like a majority of people are going to say it's going to be a tag titles, it's going to be WrestleMania, it's all going to be to that, and we're going to be okay by the end. And then you listen to Cody's promo, holy shit! But Cody did say in the beginning there is Sammy Elimination Chamber. So, and then the promo, and like Nick said, Sammy's got to say something, and he did. Sammy did say something like, you ain't got to worry, Cody. I'll have these. I'm going to be having the titles come WrestleMania. Basically, you tell Roman that you don't got to worry about Cody, because shit ain't going to happen at WrestleMania. Cody's not a problem anymore. I'm your problem. He needed to say that shit. And then you get Jimmy and Jay going right along with it. It's like, now that took everybody's odds of, oh, Jay's going to turn on him because he's not going to show up this week, meaning last minute, here he comes. Oh, shit, there's a turn, and we didn't see that coming. You just erased that turn. So you're making this even, it surprised the people who were dead set in their mind. Like, that's a surprise.
Yeah.
Vegas betting odds just went down, buddy. Like, it's definitely leaning a little more towards Sammy, especially. So that's a surprise for everybody. And that would be the surprise that we want to see, and it'll surprise other people. I think the majority of people will be happy with it, man. People need to calm down.
So I know it sounds crazy to be like, I really think Sammy is winning because they've officially just announced it's going to be Roman and Cody. We have 2 shows between now and the Elimination Chamber in which I think Cody is. I heard a rumor. I don't know how true it is. I don't even know where I saw it from, but is that Cody will be addressing Sami Zayn tomorrow.
Oh, that'll be cool.
And I think that's where again, it helps make things get interesting. If that's happening, I don't know. But if it does, I think it makes things interesting. And
I mean,
it's like we know exactly what's going to happen, but yet we have absolutely no. That's how I feel. I have no clue what they're doing with the world title scene right now. I just don't know, because both of them make too much sense not to win, but one can't win without the other one lose. I just don't know how they're handling it, and I'm so damn intrigued.
So isn't Roman showing up on SmackDown? I did not hear that.
Yeah, he's there because it's in Quebec. So
Roman's going to be at SmackDown,
Quebec, and then
so if Cody addresses Sami, that's perfect, because now Sami and Cody can start like a rivalry or a foreshadowing of like, man, it could be you, and Sami could be like, you're damn right, it could be me.
Yeah.
And don't you forget, whatever. I've been here busting my ass, whatever. I don't know. And then Roman can come out even more pissed off. It's like, why are they talking like this is a foregone conclusion? That'll add to that bullshit. And he told them to stay home, so he'll be alone. So he's gonna feel alone when he comes out and says that, because they're definitely gonna touch on the issue. Sami's gonna say, "Yes, you're damn right, it could be me at WrestleMania."
Yeah.
And then that's gonna piss Roman off more. And he can say that on Friday. That's awesome. That's good shit. I'm happy, man.
Yeah. Can you guys imagine Roman without the Universal Championship? I can't. You won't have to imagine it. He loses the belts, he's gone. He don't even get a rematch. I don't even think he shows up on the SmackDown. I think once he loses those titles, he's gone for the foreseeable future.
That's a good possibility of that as well. I mean, I can always see Roman without a title when you got someone like Sami Zayn or Cody Rhodes or Seth Rollins or KO. I can always see it.
But I think at this point with Roman, if he loses the titles, for him to just keep showing up, why? You look foolish. You're not the head of the table no more. He's got to disappear for a while and then come back, re-energize or whatever, because
could make
his character is based on pride. So without those titles, he's ashamed of himself, and there's no way he presents himself to people. That's how I take it.
And that would give Jay, Jimmy, Solo time to integrate something, life without Roman, right? What are they going to do? That in itself could be very interesting.
I think with Jay and Jimmy, if they go the route of leaving the bloodline before WrestleMania, because Roman doesn't trust them now, and then they say, well, Sami stood up to you, we stood up to you too, and then they leave. And then I think the next interesting thing is what happens with Solo before WrestleMania. Do they be like, yo, you're our brother? Like, in which they persuade Solo to leave Roman, and then that's the collapse of Roman's empire and blah blah blah, all that. Yeah. That seems to be where they're heading now. And if that's the case, it's like, okay, how do you do Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens versus the Usos then, if the Usos have kind of switched sides? I don't know. Again, I know I'm supposed to know what's going to happen. We're going to get the Usos and Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, and you're going to get Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania. That's what they're telling us is going to happen, and it does make sense, but then all this other shit makes too much sense too. And it's not like I'm plucking it out of thin air. Like, other people see it all the time too. So
it's right in our face. It's literally in our face, and they just built it up more on Friday.
Whew, how could you
Cody's going to talk to Sami. It's going to build it up more on Friday. On Monday, then to Friday. I mean, people can't say that road doesn't exist. It's right there in front of us.
Who the fuck could not love this shit right now? That's how I feel about it. Like, that's how much I'm loving it right now. It's so damn good. So Dom is in no way ready to be off on his own. So bringing Jay and no, you don't bring Jay White into the Judgment Day. Don't do that. Don't do that. That would be too much. Have Jay White just come in on his own, bust people's ass. That's what I want to see.
Dom character is a 10 out of 10. I'm just gonna say it. That shit is gold. It's cracking me up every Monday.
If Roman goes away for a bit, it will benefit the. It absolutely will. It'll give some more TV time. Not that the TV time he's had has been wasted, because it's all been fucking phenomenal. But you give more people time, and the show is red hot right now. So if you can continue that momentum past WrestleMania, it's not about Roman that we're tuning in. It's about the shows. The shows have been really, really, really good. So I'm gonna keep watching.
Jimmy, I gotta ask you a question, man.
Ask it.
All right, so where is it? All right, so Elimination Chamber. All right, we got to get to somebody for Bianca. Out of everybody shining right now, whether it's Bailey and Becky, Bloodline, etc., Bobby and someone else, right? Gunther and whatever. Bianca doesn't have an opponent. So Elimination Chamber, we got Asuka, Raquel, Nikki, Liv, and I'm not even going to say the others, because any of those four I think should win. I want Asuka or Raquel. Like, who would you think would make the better promoting up to WrestleMania? Which one of those women versus Bianca would be the better promotion?
I don't know why. I don't have a logical reason as to why I think Raquel makes more sense than Asuka. Because I have no problem with seeing Asuka and Bianca at WrestleMania. I just don't. I'm not going to ever complain about seeing Asuka in a match. No, I'll watch it. But I preached that I wanted Rhea to take on Bianca because it would be a women's championship match that didn't involve the 4 horsewomen, and it would be a big match. It wouldn't just be like whoever, whatever, you know. They're just they're just holding it until Becky gets back. It's not that situation. They're both top girls that would have a main event kind of match for WrestleMania, and you didn't do it. So now I'm thinking like, okay, well, we've seen Asuka in this scene before. Let's do it with Raquel. Let's give Raquel this spot with Bianca, and now you have
the 2 record holders in NXT. Man, those 2 girls had all the weightlifting records in NXT with Rhea. There was always those 3 always competing for those records.
We always preach we want to see new people get these new opportunities. It's sink or swim. Like, that's how, and I think the Baron Corbin situation is a perfect example of it. They gave him the chance. It didn't work. They cut the cord on it. They're not going to drag these things out. They're like, all right, no, this shit's done. Sink or swim. Give Raquel this opportunity. Let's see if you should invest a future in her like you have with Rhea and Bianca. Give her this moment. You already have Rhea and Charlotte, so if you have one dud, it's okay. You still had a fucking awesome main event with your women, other women's title. So
I think Raquel is the better build leading up to it, because they're history with NXT. They're both big and strong and devastating. I want to see them fight it out. If I'm not going to get Rhea versus Bianca,
Asuka's had these opportunities. My thing is, Asuka's had these opportunities, and if we want to stay true to our word and we want to see new people get these opportunities, Raquel's the girl.
Yeah, and if Raquel takes that, if she takes that title by a miracle from Super Cena, then
that'd be a big moment for her, and that's how you create a star. Okay, now that you've done this, let's see what you got. Sink or swim.
Now she could be on Raw. Now she needs to face Asuka.
And they've given her the absolute best opportunity they possibly could have to find out if she's worth the investment. I just don't see how you don't do Raquel. And again, it's not a knock on Asuka. I love Asuka. That's my mentality on it.
Yeah, I was torn between the 2, but I thought the Raquel build would be better.
So Ayush says Bianca versus Asuka. Nick, Asuka. David, Asuka would be the better option where there is such a I think it would be a great match. I'm not knocking the match. I won't be mad if it's Asuka. I just think it should be Raquel.
Yeah, I knew the majority of people would say Asuka. That's why I was bringing it up, because I was torn. I wanted Asuka at first.
The story is already there. Yeah, but they were teasing Bianca and Rhea months ago. They would see each other in the back and they'd stare each other up and down, and then they'd go about their business. They are teasing it.
That's next WrestleMania.
So it's like, why? I get that there's history there, but why would you tease it and then just be like, never mind?
I just got to say this.
Vince for doing. Now I'm going to go ahead and say it too.
That promo bomb that she threw back at Rhea on SmackDown was excellent. And when Rhea beats her at WrestleMania, Rhea is going to be a damn beyond above the level. The way they're pushing this is like Charlotte's on the top level. I think Rhea's going to beat her. Rhea's going to beat her, man.
I just
It
don't
makes
want to
no
see Charlotte
sense.
in a championship match. I just don't.
You
That's
know
me.
me. I'm a Charlotte fan.
I know you're a Charlotte fan. I get it, but we've seen it so many times. This was the opportunity to do something big time different, and you took it from me.
It's a celebration of Charlotte, man. That's what we're changing WrestleMania to, okay? It's a celebration of
like, I always say I want to be logical, so I'm going to be logical. I've said what I wanted, and I'm not saying like I want specifics. I want something new because that's what we've all been preaching for. And there's no better time to do it than right now because you're red hot and you have this talent at your fingertips. Like, all right, let's see if this is going to work. And it's not like Raquel isn't established on the show either. Like, we know Raquel is really, really good. Let's see what you got.
I'm gonna back you on this. It's because say 50% of the fans love Charlotte and believe she is the standard, just like a lot of people believe Bayley is the standard or Becky. People see Bianca and like, wow, they present her as she is unbeatable, right? Here's the thing. This is why it works better that she's taking on Charlotte. She did get beat by Charlotte. Yeah, there's a story there. But Charlotte is presented as, God, like Nick said, there is no reason she should be afraid of anyone. And that's how she permitted that promotion. And I was like, that's perfect because now I get to see Rhea fire back this Monday, back at Charlotte to address what she just said. And eventually, contract signing face-to-face. I'm telling you, this is their chance because Rhea, how many matches she have last year? Anyways, Rhea is going to be like right now and popular to like over the moon when she beats Charlotte because we need to set up the next future star. It is Bianca. It is Rhea. And honestly, I think it's Raquel as well. I think this will boost Rhea stock tremendously, dude, if she wins. I think she's going to win. I think it's why it's happening.
I think Rhea is in one of the best, like, I'll go ahead and say it, the second best angle in WWE right now. So I don't think a win over Charlotte is going to boost her stock. I think her stock is, because she's been presented as a badass ever since she came to Judgment Day. She won the Royal Rumble from number one. But we know she's a former champion already, and she's in the second best angle in WWE. So I don't think Charlotte does as much as everyone says it's going to do.
I see exactly what you're saying. Now, back to this crazy guy's fan head who thinks Charlotte is the standard. No, I'm serious. There's a fuck ton of Charlotte fans, and I hate it ever since you showed me Bayley and Becky. Becky. But for me, I think Rhea, yeah, she's popular. She's that angle. She's amazing. I get it. I need her to beat a fucking queen. And as soon as she beats Charlotte, it puts it even over for me. But it's not about me. I'm open-minded. It's for those idiot Charlotte fans that need to see it. That's what I think it's about, dude.
So here's how I would have gotten to it, and then we'll wrap it up. You have Rhea dethrone Bianca on Raw because that's a feat in itself. Bianca has been like dominating. Rhea just came in, smashed her, took the title. We have a draft very soon afterwards. Charlotte loses her title WrestleMania to whoever it is she wrestles. I don't know. Liv Morgan. I don't know. And then she gets drafted to Raw, and then she immediately challenges Rhea Ripley. And now we could all have that thought, like, here comes Charlotte to do it again. Build it.
Yeah, you're right. That is a better way.
Build it to SummerSlam, and then Rhea beats Charlotte at SummerSlam. And then the past two matches, the big time matches she's had, she's beaten the top two out of the top three people in the industry in WWE. And she is solidified as a badass.
Like, you're right. That is a better way to go about it.
And at the same time, you could have given the fans a big women's match that didn't incorporate the Four Horsewomen.
Well, there goes Jimmy with the brains again. Okay, fine. I admit it. That would be a better way. That would be a better way of doing it. You're right.
Rhea stands a good chance of getting cheered off layer 2, so they may be something they may have to address. Yeah, exactly. Is the Dom thing, and are they going to go baby? I hope that God they don't. That would be stupid.
Don't.
Like, don't. Yeah, that's a problem to me. Like what he just put up. That's a problem they have to be prepared for, because
Well, Charlotte's playing the baby face right now, so hopefully it doesn't go that way.
Where this, and then I'll wrap this up. He said, "This year's WrestleMania is looking more and more interesting with so many." You damn right. I'm so excited and pumped. I am. I like legit, like really get excited watching this shit right now. That's how good it is. But yeah, I'm done. I got nothing else. What's this? It's not. I don't think that's a big marquee match, Nick. Sorry. I mean, it's a bit. I don't know how to say. We've seen it. We saw on like at Money in the Bankers. Like we've seen it before. So you have the opportunity to do new big things at WrestleMania. That's what you do. So that you have future stars that can do it next year. Like that's the idea here. So. And yeah, then Charlotte will definitely get booed over. Yeah, that's a problem. Mercedes, oh yeah, so there's Sasha. If you don't know, Mercedes Moné and Kyrie. Again, during the Elimination Chamber, don't do that. Thank you, Nick. Yeah, we'll end it.
Hi, Nick.
Got anything else you wanna pop in? We can do that, but I've rambled.
Yeah, I mean, I really loved y'all's thing. Cody, Roman, Sammy.
Thank you.
The thing y'all did was like the best explanation that I have ever seen or heard, and many angles covered, to where I felt like I was educated. Like I went through I did my SAT right there, and I passed with flying colors. I listened to y'all shit. That was amazing. That was amazing breakdown. People need to watch that. Everybody's on the fence about Seth, Cody, and what's going on. If you don't know what's going on, they'll tell you what's going on. That was some of the best shit I've seen in a long time, man.
Thank you. Yeah, I just had a blast. And if you don't know, it was this man. I had that.
Yep.
Nick, Nick
all killed it.
That was fun. And yeah, there you go. Join the Legion. Thanks, Tidey. Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you, guys. And we will see you next week. I don't know what we're talking about yet. But no, Elimination Chamber. That's what we're talking about. We're
going to talk about Elimination Chamber.
I totally forgot it's this week, baby. Woo-hoo-hoo. I'm excited. But yeah, I'll see y'all then. And then also tomorrow at the Raw recap over at WrestleBuddy. Thank you. And